Hey guys, happy Tuesday. Welcome back. We're diving right in. We're thrilled to have you with us. Big announcement right up front. Next week's podcast will be live in the studio. Will be live. It'll be questions only from you guys. It'll be rapid fire. Those always fly by. That'll be super rapid fire. Yep. So keep in mind, this is Tuesday. This coming Monday, we will be in studio. We will announce the times. It'll be in the evening. We'll do an all live podcast. We'd love to have you here for it live. And then, of course, it will release on all the audio formats the next day. But just letting you know that's happening. Other announcements. Have you seen it yet? Have you seen our biggest comparison of the year, the $12,000 used car piece? There's things to say here, but it's very fun.
We had a lot of fun making this piece, guys. Thank you for watching. Please pass it on to friends. It got us thinking about what are fun cars out there that are $12K and under, because you watched that under $8,000 piece from 3 years ago, three or 4 years ago now. And that has just really resonated with all of you, so thank you for that. So this is under $12,000. Like I said, pass that along. But we had a lot of fun making it, and there's a ton of cars that we could have included in the piece, some that didn't show up, like a TT, others that, you know what, we've covered those before, like GT86s and that kind of thing.
Specifically didn't bring the 86.
But it was a deliberate choice, but it hopefully got everybody thinking about and shopping on Auto Tempest.
For sure, yes.
But thinking about what stuff is out there, and so many people are loving the Fiesta ST. We love that car. It's not revelatory. It was just fun to rediscover it. And I think that's, with all the comments, it was sort of like, yeah, we know the Fiesta ST is fun. Like, yeah, we know that too. But once again, it was fun to rediscover it and re-drive all of these cars. So again, thank you for watching. The link is here, so in the top right corner of your screen, and pass that along. Hopefully you enjoy and watch it again. Thank you guys.
Yes, for sure. One thing I want to add on this that's very funny is thank you for all the comments, all the amazing comments on that piece. Thank you for sharing it, passing it along, and watching it a lot. Some of you are sending us photos of you watching on the big screen. That's what's intended. So thank you for that. I also want to pause here on how we do these for one quick second and talk about one thing, and that is I'm loving to see all the comments about why didn't you guys bring whatever. But there's this weird misconception out there, and you've fought this battle for us since the beginning. This weird misconception that if we as automotive journalists would like to put a bunch of cars together, there's just a parking lot somewhere of those cars available.
They just exist.
We'll just go get the exact one we need with the exact spec we need. We'll get it right now. That not only is that not true with new cars, it gets harder and harder as the cars get used.
Yes.
So I want you guys to know right up front, we want to do more of these. We love this format. We want to do more of these. We're excited about them. We're glad you are too. But we started with a list of 12 cars, hoping to get 6 on camera. The 5 we ended up with, I'll be honest with you, some of those 5 were like, we should include that car.
Sure.
It wasn't that has to be there. Some of the has to be there, we could never find one that was available for our shoot. So we actually go out all over our local area, which again is the Salt Lake area. We're looking for all of the 12 cars on the list, hoping to get 6. The morning we filmed, we had 6, and then the TT didn't show up, and suddenly we had a 5-car shoot.
Well, there's always caveats about, well, what about this? This could squeak in. Like, maybe we should include that. So it would be 12 to 15 cars.
Yes.
That's a huge undertaking, so it's more representative, even though you guys have had many great ideas about which cars should have been included.
But many of the ideas you've come up with were on our list. They were on our we had a 12 list, and we had like the 9 really chase those lists, then it was the 6 we hope we get, and then it was 5 that actually made it on camera. So please understand, we love doing these, but there's no I'll just pull out my wish list and I'll grab the 6 best cars possible to match
the cars are all in my neighbor's driveway.
They're all next door. We have them in a barn somewhere. So that's the fight. But anyway, thank you guys for watching it. We have to move on to big Toyota news.
Huge news. It's very exciting news. We watched last week the reveal of the Toyota GR GT. We've been talking about it and discussing it for a long time. It was at Goodwood Festival of Speed over the summer of 2025. And the new Lexus, they're reusing the nomenclature LFA, but it's an LFA EV, which is fine with us. But we watched the reveal last week and came away as blown away, I think, as all of you are, not just by the specs, but by the car itself, and the exciting news that Toyota is investing in this market. They're pushing it forward. And I think by having these cars, they're putting all the other car makers on notice. Like, this is cool. They're going to make money. Putting the effort that they did in it will reap rewards. You can go GT3 racing. The FIA GT3 rules is what they followed here to offer into that segment. And I think other car manufacturers are already sitting back going, maybe that's something we should revisit.
I mean, we'll see. Toyota is unique in the fact that Akio Toyoda, he wants to do good to drive cars, and not all of the CEOs or people high up at any of these car companies is that their focus. They want to make cars they can sell hundreds of thousands of, which means 5-seat CUVs.
The letter T, starting with the letter T.
Possibly.
Sorry,
that
was a
well.
shot.
But
it was a shot.
This is really interesting because we're talking about a twin-turbo hybridized V8, somewhere in the neighborhood of 600 horsepower, somewhere in the neighborhood of $100,000. This is a big halo car moonshot for Toyota. They have the hybrid background. They're going to do a race car. I mean, you see in the photo here, the car looks, I got to be honest, it looks big. It
does look big.
AMG GT kind of big, like last gen AMG GT.
That's what we're hearing.
Which it looks like you crossed that with a Supra and you got this thing. It also looks really low and wide. It almost looks like
wide,
you laid a deck of cards on the table. It's like looks like, and then I put a little bit of a cabin on top of it. I mean, that's what it looks like.
Just a tiny greenhouse on top of the deck of cards.
Deck of cards is what it looks like.
That's good.
This will probably be really cool to drive. I suspect the power is going to be awesome, and it is cool looking. But it feels big in photos. Even the guy walking around on stage. And I thought the Lexus looked swoopy and really cool. This looks almost utilitarian, like we have a job to do.
I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
Car for a specific purpose.
I want to see it
right?
in a color,
yeah,
but
agreed.
this is a big car.
What we know so far, it is a 4-liter twin-turbo V8 hybrid. Turbos in the hot V, front mid-engine. You can see that reflected in the architecture here.
For sure.
At least, again, all we're hearing, this could all change, but what we're hearing right now, at least 641 horsepower and 627 foot-pounds of torque with an 8-speed automatic transaxle and an EV, the electric motor replacing the torque converter. So right at the engine, battery above the transaxle in the rear. Here is the GT3 version of that. And what we're also hearing is the GT3 version came first, which is always good news when the race car comes first. And then let's build the street car out of the race car. That's a whole heck of a lot easier, but it also just bodes well for GT3 class racing in general. Aluminum chassis, entirely new, designed for the GT3 version here, and a 45 to 55 weight distribution. Here is the Lexus version of that, the LFA, so they're bringing that nomenclature back. This looks even better than the Toyota.
It does.
I think
it does. I agree. This
EV.
looks like this is the right design on that chassis.
Yeah, it really
looks amazing.
So interestingly, what we're hearing is the Toyota GT and the GT3 will be sold through Lexus dealers. We're hearing new information here, and that is because when you buy something this expensive, this halo of a car, you want a higher level of customer support and service rather than buying a $200,000+ car next to a Sienna minivan. I think it could work because this is not being positioned as a luxury vehicle. It's positioned as a high-performance vehicle, which is what the Toyota brand is all about. So I think it could work, but if it's through a Lexus dealer, fine with me.
Interesting.
So here's the GT and the GT3 together. Very interesting. The back of it, I think the styling
back
works
looks amazing.
So
I actually
well.
think the back is the best angle
so
on this
good.
car right now.
Yeah, it's excellent. And then we've got a few more photos here just showing the packaging, which is quite interesting. So you can see that front mid-engine layout here, passenger in the center, and they kindly indicated the center of gravity. So right here in the car, so it's right at your knees.
Right below the steering wheel, essentially, yeah.
Yeah, right below the steering wheel. So they're indicating a 45 to 55 weight distribution for this car, which is pretty ideal. And you can kind of see center of rotation, CG right there in the middle, which is cool.
I'm going to say something controversial. This looks like it could be the next-gen Viper.
That's no bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, but think about
but
the Viper's perception,
size.
the size perception of the Viper. Now, granted, I've joked about this before. The current 911 is as long as a Viper. It doesn't seem like it.
Doesn't seem like
the Viper over time has gotten smaller in perception. But this looks like somebody sat down and designed what is the updated version of the Viper, and it has that feel about it to me. And the Viper is related to the AMG GT. I mean, they all have a similar kind of feel to them, the long nose, etc. But yeah, anyway.
Moving on to the chassis, so you can see this is brand new, developed by Toyota, designed for the GT3 cars. You can see the transaxle out back, and you can see just from the image here,
everything. Yeah,
it looks really wide and low.
I'm so excited to drive, hopefully, both of these, both the Toyota version and the EV Lexus version. I love that Toyota is doing this. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it truly, but I love that they are.
So a few photos from the interior, and you might say that it looks a little bit bland at first glance, but keep in mind, this is a purposeful car. For the Toyota version, this is not being positioned or even sold as the luxury GT cruiser. The 911 could be accused of having kind of a boring looking interior.
Fair.
Could the Mercedes AMG. It's cool, big screen, a lot of buttons, but what are we looking for, I suppose?
Okay, fair point.
Does it have to be crazy Pagani-like to feel supercar-like? Or would you rather have a purpose-built environment here? The Lexus will look, I think, pretty interesting, pretty driver-focused, but we're hearing pricing based on what current GT3 cars cost. That's all we know right now. And the seats,
We'll see.
very
This
purposeful.
looks really cool. I want to see one.
center
I want to
console
drive
here.
one. Wow.
Yeah. I love that Toyota and Akio Toyoda, he even spoke at that reveal, and I love that he has gone all in because look what it's done to both of these brands. Everybody's talking about Toyota and Lexus. And the fact that this Toyota Halo car would be sold at Lexus, that is huge news. That is getting everybody talking about it. And so it makes you want to have a piece of this by going and buying a GR product or a Lexus.
I guess, yeah.
Some sort of like, I kind of relate to it because this is where Toyota's going with their entire lineup. So very cool.
It's very cool.
Very interesting. And again, pricing could change. Everything is hearsay right now.
Everything could change.
There's no details posted, and they're saying it's a 2027 vehicle, so hopefully introduced in 2026, mid-2026, hopefully at some point in first drives, and it's for the recreational track driver, so for hooked-on driving drivers.
Yes.
It's for GT3 class racing, and the Lexus. I mean, what a sexy-looking, cool, modern, this is automotive, this is motoring in the future. I love that.
Yeah, I can't believe they've done it. I'm very excited about it.
A bit more news, a little bit old at this point, about a Jaguar. Well, I mean, we've heard specifically that Gerry McGovern, the head of design, has been fired. He was friends with Ratan Tata, who passed away last year. And so when you don't have any more champions in the company that believe in you and had a lot of pushback from the public.
Excellent way to put it. I was going to say, when the public is not loving what's going on.
Unconvinced.
Yes. Excellent.
He was convinced. The public was not.
That's a shirt I want. I want hashtag unconvinced. Those of you making t-shirts for us, pay attention. Okay. I want to have this profile, and I want over the long hood, hashtag unconvinced. There's just that. That is, I want to wear that. That we should do, because hopefully this firing kills this car. And hopefully it creates you know what I really hope this is? I hope this is Jaguar's new Coke moment. Because Coca-Cola was like, we're going to do new Coke. You're going to love it. They brought out new Coke, and everybody went, what is this swill? And they filled up their cars with all the old Coke. And I remember all the news stories when I was growing up. I mean, I'm dating myself, but still. It landed with such a thud, and Coke had made a big deal about this is our new direction. Like, we're not looking back. This is our new direction, just like Jaguar.
Actually.
And then the response to the public was so bad, they were like, Coca-Cola Classic. I bet you this is their new Coke moment. I hope it is. I hope what comes next from Jaguar, we're like, that's a Jaguar.
I guess in modern terms, it's their Cracker Barrel moment. So they're
possibly, yeah.
We were just kidding moment.
Yep.
You know what? I respect Gerry McGovern's styling, his eye, and what it did for Land Rover, for the Ranges, because that is a slab-sided vehicle that really evokes luxury. And anytime any SUV manufacturer is designing something new, I think they're looking at Ranges. Lincoln did, and they're successful. Lincoln looked at those and went, you know what, Ranges.
Interesting.
That's a luxury high-end. That was set. The tone was set by Gerry McGovern.
You're right. I mean, I will say what he did to the Land Rover, Range Rover styling is like refine what they were already doing. And what's interesting is if you put a picture, we don't have one, but if you put a picture of the current loaded Land Rover above this Jaguar concept, you go, of course that's the same guy. And I've always thought that the current Land Rover is like about as far towards slabs as they could go. And then we found them too far. We found too far. This was the bridge too far.
We overcorrected, everyone. Yeah. There was the 2002 or 2003 when Gerry McGovern briefly worked for Ford Lincoln Mercury and came up with the MK9 concept that will put up briefly on screen. Here it is. And we're moving on from that because I was never a fan of that car. I'm not putting it on screen here, but
we're noting a trend.
Yikes.
Okay, yes.
So yes, moving on from that. A bit of other news here about Porsche introducing a virtual transmission into their EVs, starting with the Taycan, it's understanding, because Porsche apparently is super impressed with Hyundai's i5N. And so they liked the shift points that Hyundai had introduced and made it more interesting to drive. And so I think we're going to be seeing virtual transmissions from Porsche here shortly in whatever EVs they do next.
How much celebration has quietly gone on at Hyundai when they read that Porsche brought one of their products to check out how they did it? There is probably no more engineering endorsement on the planet for a car maker than Porsche bought one.
That's a great point.
And this also, frankly, it should elevate Hyundai even further in the eyes of enthusiasts.
Yeah.
That Porsche's looking at Hyundai
and impressed enough to kind of
5 years ago
do their own thing. Yeah.
That was like the start of a joke at your local Cars and Coffee. Oh, well, yeah, Porsche's looking at Hyundai. No, they're not.
That's a great point.
Porsche is looking at the i5N and the i6N and going, how'd they do this?
The shift points is what made us fall in love with the i5N.
It's very cool, yeah.
You've got to talk briefly about the Toyota Sienna minivan that we just had over the Thanksgiving break, and I think you enjoyed hauling the family around in that.
I put all the people in it. We used all the seats. We folded seats down. We folded seats up. We did all the seats. Now, Toyota is only selling this right now as an all-wheel drive hybrid. That's the way the Sienna comes. This is an expensive minivan. Okay, it's about $50,000.
Yep.
Which is what minivans cost. I'm sorry, but they do.
It was fully loaded.
Yeah, it was. I had to train my family how to use the big doors because they were desperate to do it themselves. And I could be like, just sit, just sit.
A button somewhere?
Just sit. I have all the buttons above my head. Just sit down, put your seatbelt on. The door will come to you. There was like 3 or 4 tries in some cases. Some members of the family like, just sit. So the doors are great. I mean, the reality is, if you want a minivan, we've talked about it before, nothing outdoes a minivan at what a minivan does well. We say nothing out minivan's a minivan. I've got the fob. I can open either side door with the fob while I'm walking up to the car.
Or is our Andy?
Absolutely.
Man.
I can close them from the minute I sit in the car. It's very easy. So this made easy access for those members of my family that are not easy access folks. They struggle to get in and out of cars. My father-in-law is struggling right now. So it's just one of those things where it just works. If you have families, this is excellent. I'm not saying the Sienna does something that no other minivan does. I'm not, except for possibly gas mileage, because I hooned it for like 4 days and hadn't even burned a quarter tank. When I dropped it back off with you, I was like, did I not try hard? And I knew I had.
You got a full tank here, man.
It was crazy. I drove it all over the place. And
sport mode? It was in sport mode, right?
Yes, it was the only mode.
That's the only mode.
As soon as it turned it on, it was like up to sport. Which basically was just throttle response. So it refused to burn gas.
That's amazing.
Was good.
That's
amazing.
Good.
That was the big thing about it. I mean, you got to pick minivan on the features that you want. This has all the normal features. It had the because it's a press car, it was loaded. I had the hose for the vacuum system in the center console. The hose was in there. I didn't use it.
It wasn't needed.
We're past the part where anybody in my family is young enough to make a mess. So we're past that.
Okay. Right.
But it also had the cooler in the back center console.
Oh,
yeah, where
right.
you could actually heat and cool your beverages. So that was in there too. So it was everything. And
the sliding seats with the leg rest.
I mean, you and I are too tall for those to work. But if you're the size of my sister or my wife or whatever, you're the mid 5-footers. You can actually slide the seat back and get the ankle rest, and it's all very nice. I don't need one, but if you need a minivan, the Siennas are very cool. And I was most surprised by. I didn't even notice until I pulled back into your driveway to drop it off. I looked down at the fuel gauge. So it's like, how much of it? Oh, nothing. I just burned like nothing, which was crazy. That was cool.
Which does set it apart. It's pretty cool.
That's very good. Yeah. Griot's Garage is our official car care partner and one of our very first sponsors for the show. They don't just make great car care products, they want you to get out and drive your car.
Griot's is a family-owned company, and they've been a part of every one of our road trips. We always take speed shine on every shoot, helping us spot clean cars at a moment's notice.
Their foaming glass cleaner is the quickest and best way we've ever found to get windows cleaned before a big day of driving. And they're always releasing new and improved products like their updated Wash Bucket 2.
Plus, all of Griot's liquid products are 100% guaranteed and made right here in the USA. The Griot's people are always happy to answer any questions to make sure you get the right product and the right results.
So get the best quality car care products out there from a company that has always supported this show. Our audience can always get at least 10% off by using the code DRIVER10 at griotsgarage.com. It's that time of year again. Consumer Reports does this every year. We actually had a big discussion about it last year where they release their report card for the year. They take all the brands, and they do this a couple of ways.
It's wide and deep.
Very much so. It's road test, Reliability, owner satisfaction, and safety are the 4 major parameters for them to create their best brands report. That's the headline. But then they have the best used cars, best new car values. They have all kinds of stuff. I really dug in mostly on the headline one, which was the best brands, which is the culmination of all the ways they test and all the surveys that they do.
Okay.
I wanted to talk about the top 5 and the bottom 5 of that listing, because last year, quite famously, Subaru was at the top for the first time. And also quite famously, last year, Rivian was at the bottom. Interesting to see the brands
things changed
in the top 5 and the bottom 5. But again, most reliable new car brands, both the top 3 and the bottom 3 there were interesting. Most reliable used car brands, top 3 and bottom 3. But I want to point something out real quickly before we dive in too far.
Okay.
In the best brands, Porsche is listed as one of the best. And we'll talk about where, but Porsche is listed. But one of the things that's key here is all the surveys that they get. All right. And this came up last year with Rivian, because Rivian was like the outlier, even though it was the bottom of the list, because they almost had enough surveys to make it work. If you go into the new car brands or the used car brands, just those separate lists, Porsche vanishes as a brand. It's not listed. And I can only account that to being not enough survey results for them to do it.
That's what my thinking too. There's other brands along with Porsche, but some are missing off the list.
But they get enough information to include it on the overall, like the overarching best brands one. But I just think it is funny that you have a Porsche and I have a Lotus, and those brands are pretty much nowhere to be seen. So because there's just not enough. There's just not enough of them.
Surveys,
not enough people are buying them. Not enough people are doing surveys. I filled out a Lotus survey the other day.
You did?
They asked me multiple questions. They sent me a survey. I was like, I'll fill out a survey. That's fine. And they asked me if I would ever, and I took the question at face value. Would I ever consider, that was the word used, ever consider a Lotus electric SUV? And I was like, you've got the word ever and consider in there. I would absolutely consider. You didn't ask me, would I buy? You said ever consider. I took it at face value, so I said yes. Because I'm also thinking
very deliberate on their part, because they just want, they want to kind of grease the,
but
the scales a little bit.
Buy, or plus, because they also don't know they're asking me. I'm an automotive journalist. I want to consider everything. I want to drive it all.
True.
I may tell you you're way, way off the mark, but I'd love to get in and drive it.
If you said buy, it'd be far more definitive results, but it might not go in the direction they want.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing I was concerned about, is they're going to look at these survey results, and most people are going to be like, ever consider? Sure. And then they're going to go,
everything.
Our audience really wants an electric SUV. That's not what we said. That's not what we said. I specifically did not say that. I said, as an automotive journalist, if you build that as a concept, I'll drive it and go, is this a Lotus?
Well, that way, when sales go way down and they point fingers at the marketing people, they can say, well, hey, all these people considered. We can't force people to buy. Why didn't people buy? Jaguar's going through that very thing right now.
The new Coke moment at Jaguar. I really like that. I really lean into it. So can I run through my 5 here real quick?
Yeah,
this is best brands, top 5 and bottom 5. Once again, they're back with more forest and all-wheel drive. Subaru. Subaru is the top of the list.
With more forest.
Now with more forest. Now with all the all-wheel drives and the CVTs. And in the back of the photo that I have on screen, the very back is the PRZ.
How did that get up there?
Yeah, it doesn't belong. Doesn't belong in the photo.
That's not sand. That is rock and gravel and mountain.
There's probably a road in fact, I think there is in the upper
right
corner
corner.
There is a road.
Yes.
But anyway, the point I'm making here is the BRZ is way at the back. They drove it in early in the morning and they
chopped that in.
Yeah, exactly.
Carefully placed.
We've joked about this a lot. Look, Subaru is killing it, especially in North America. They're killing it. They also are doing incremental changes to their cars. And that was actually brought up last year when we talked about this at length. One of the things that's led them to rise to the top, especially in reliability, is they're not making big swing for the fences changes. They're making little tiny tweaks to what's already working, and that leads to long-term reliability. Toyota being a great example. They've done a bunch of new engines. They're going through those growing pains. Subaru's been using the same engines, same transmissions forever. So they're actually at number 1. Number 2 is BMW.
I couldn't believe that. And they were tied with Subaru.
Number 2 is BMW.
I couldn't believe that.
Whoever thought that best brands, number 2 would be BMW? I'm a little astonished by this.
That's based on all the results, the owner satisfaction surveys,
owner satisfaction, road tests, safety, all of the above. So there's BMW at number 2. Porsche at number 3. Again, they don't appear on the other sub-lists, but they are on this list. So Porsche at number 3, which they've been in the top 5 kind of forever.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the truth. They are the performance brand that is the most reliable. I mean, I realize Toyota has performance stuff, but this is their performance brand that is the most reliable is Porsche. Honda is at number 4.
Good.
Which is very interesting.
Good, they're up there.
Toyota is at 5, which feels a little lower than I would have expected. But again, they're going through some big changes in their lineup, and that is leading to less current reliability, whereas Subaru is doing incremental changes, and things are working. You're starting to see that the change there. That is the top 5. Bottom 5. I want to bring up something. Before I go to bottom 5, I'm going to stay here on Toyota, number 5 for a minute.
Right.
Last year, Rivian was the bottom of the list. Okay, they was way at the bottom. All right. Now, owner satisfaction in a separate list was really high, but how it did on everything, it was bottom of the list. It's risen 5 places, which means that the 5 I'm about to talk about are all lower on the list than Rivian, who was the bottom of the barrel last year.
But are you saying Rivian marketing people can now claim we rose 5 spots?
Yes, in the Consumer Reports Best Brand Survey, Rivian, we're giving the marketing department
This
of Rivian
is how marketing
freebies.
people do it.
Yes. We've ridden 5 spaces. And what's interesting is some of their direct competitors are now below them. So let's dive into the bottom 5 below Rivian. 5 from the bottom is Alfa Romeo. I love them, but they just don't do well here. Also, a lot of Stellantis products in the bottom 5. I'm sorry to say it.
You don't say.
The Stellantarians, Dodge is below Alfa Romeo.
You don't want to buy a Hornet?
I don't. Granted, you notice that the Alfa has its Hornet variant, the Tonale, the Toenail. The Tonale is there.
Not a good
name. And then we have the Hornet. So Dodge is even below Alfa Romeo.
Okay.
Below Dodge is GMC, who is pretty much only making high-end trucks from the Chevy platforms, but they're just not working very well. So GMC is making things like the Hummer. Hummer is listed under GMC. So there's that. And then below GMC is Land Rover. At the bottom of the list is Land Rover.
They still sell, though. They still sell.
They sell, and they have a reputation for not running great and not being reliable, but their owners do love them. I mean, one of the things that's interesting is the cars at the bottom of the market, the ones I just ran through, Rivian through the bottom, you've got militant owners that love these vehicles. And look, I have championed the Alfa Romeo Giulia. I'll probably do it again this podcast. I love that car, okay? And I've known people with them that were problematic. I've known people with them where there was like, all this does is run.
Right, and they're like, what is everybody talking about?
Exactly. So, I mean, I understand. We have multiple friends. It's Park City. We have multiple friends with Range Rovers and Land Rover products. I know a few that just are like, I don't know what everybody's complaining about. We have one friend who does all his own maintenance and is like, I don't know what everybody's complaining about.
There you go.
But anyway, so we'll see how it all goes. But that is the quote-unquote best brands, top and bottom from Consumer Reports from me. I thought it was a fascinating list this year. But Rivian on the way up and BMW at the top.
That's amazing. I like that you showed photos of everything because I'm list guy. So
it was hard to get photos of the lineups. That's
I'll
harder
bet.
than you think. Yeah.
I'll bet, just to find the lineups, the current lineups. So I'm list guy. So I'm showing a few lists here. A little bit of it is repetitive, but I just wanted you to see some screenshots from Consumer Reports and how they see how they rank things. So this is starting with most reliable new brands. Just wanted you to see the top 10 here. Toyota is predicted reliability based again on all the owner surveys and all the research they do. Toyota's at the top for best new brands. For used car brand reliability, now Lexus swaps places with Toyota, and look at all these. BMW is still on there. Mazda, great. Audi, Volvo, they're still way up there. And then moving on to satisfaction by brand, you touched on this. Rivian is
very interesting.
Way out front. Like not even a contest, way out front.
People that have Rivians love their Rivians, and that helped them last year too. But it is interesting because in spite of the foibles and the issues and whatever, the Rivian owners love their cars, and that changes the dynamics a lot.
Insane. So moving on here to the list form for sports cars with the images. I wanted you to see this because at the very top for $40,000 sports cars and under, the BRZ, and I would think, even though it's fourth on the list, but they all share almost the top 4 spots. The GR86 and the BRZ. So those are way up there, which is pretty cool to see. Even the Mini Cooper in yellow.
Look at that. Is
at the top.
Hey, it's actually recommended. Look at that.
They're at the top.
I mean, I have a 20-year-old one now for my son. So, we'll see how that goes.
But you got the good year with the supercharger.
The number of people in the comments on a $12,000 car piece that were like, Minis are terrible. They'll never run. I'm like, well, I've had 2 that have run. Hopefully this second one keeps running.
We're like, don't know what you're talking about.
The big lesson we're doing now with my son and the Mini is it's freezing outside. The engine is cold. We don't have to find red line yet. Just
mechanical sympathy.
Easy. Just, we'll get there. Let some of the gauges climb off of the peg at the bottom. Like let some of the gauges lift.
Is he getting in, starting it, and just hammering on it?
He drives it the way he's used to driving it, which is just, I'm going to wind out through the gears. And it's like, okay, right now, just calm. Let's get into sixth when we only need third. Let's just ease our way in.
Wow, yes. It's a good lesson.
Yeah, we're working our way.
Moving on to sports cars, $40,000 and above. Amazing to see the C8 Stingray at the very top of the list as a Consumer Reports recommended buy. Supra's in there, Boxster's up there as well, which I like to see. The Miata didn't rank quite as high as I thought it was going to, but at least it's, up here. It's good. Z4, all the stuff that we do like. And then talking a little bit about trucks, the F-150 took all the categories in hybrid and regular form, so it's F-150.
F-150 all day long.
From here on out.
Yeah.
But what was interesting is we currently have a Santa Cruz press vehicle.
Yep.
And here it is at the top of Consumer Reports' recommended list for the small truck category. And that was pretty cool to see. I'm reminded that it's actually pretty fun to drive, although I feel like the turbo isn't kicking in. I have to really tell it. I have to downshift a lot.
I don't remember that the last time
I don't remember that either.
Okay.
It's almost like something about the throttle response was changed. I've got it in sport, and I've got to really downshift to make it go.
Interesting.
Is this turbo? I thought this was turbo.
Yeah.
But maybe not. Check. Yeah, it's turbo. Where is the turbo? I shouldn't have to just...
Okay.
It needs to come on a little bit sooner, but maybe people were complaining about that. It was too jumpy because that's why we liked it. It was just snappy.
It was on it, yeah.
Hot throttle response.
That's what I remember, yeah. Interesting.
Here is the off-road focused SUV market.
This is why you're doing this list.
The very top is the new Toyota 4Runner.
That's why you did that.
If you haven't seen my I Got One piece, here is the link in the top right corner again. And I bought one. I really, really do like it. And so off-road focused SUVs, the Wrangler's up here, which is good, but the scoring isn't too high.
Yours and the Bronco and the Wrangler are the top three, but the reliability scores of both the Bronco and the Wrangler do not compete with the expected one on the Toyota. They just don't.
Compete.
I'm sorry,
But then moving on to the luxury versions, the Cayenne is a very, very in the top three here as well. Interesting to see the X5 all the way out front. So
interesting.
Plug-in hybrid or regular X5 is way out there, but that definitely corresponds to BMW being at the very top.
That's amazing.
Of the overall list, which is pretty cool to see.
Things change. Watch what happens in 10 years. That's what I think is interesting, as long as we've been doing this job, to watch how brands' perceptions completely change in 5 or 10 years. Certainly in 10-year increments, it's amazing how an entire brand will remake itself. Toyota's done that almost twice in the time we've done this show, which is crazy. Yeah.
And then here is the EV list. BMW once again at the top with the i5 for electric luxury cars.
And the i4 in second, which, bringing them to the top here, yeah.
So BMW's Taycan's up here, which is nice to see. Tesla has definitely risen a lot, but pretty interesting to see BMW all the way at the top of this list. Moving on to subcompact SUVs. And
you are a list guy. You look at you. This is awesome.
This is my moment.
You didn't do this by accident. Essentially, all the lists have just led us to this list. That's really the reason you did lists, was to show the 4Runner at the top and to have this discussion we're about to have right now.
Get it all out of the way so I could show you the subcompact SUV market. There's 15 cars in this market. The very bottom is the new Subaru Crosstrek Hybrid, so it is still in test.
It's still testing,
and doesn't have quite all the scores yet. That's why it's not really ranked. So out of the 14... the Taos has moved up one notch. It's still 13th, pretty much dead last in my opinion. But the Mitsubishi Outlander Sport has taken the crown from the Taos for being the worst, according to Consumer Reports. This is not my reporting.
But they don't have enough actual... The other reason it's there is because they don't have enough surveys yet to make it, to maybe raise it off the floor. That's just Consumer Reports commenting as well.
So good news, the Taos might still come in last?
With actual road test score and over satisfaction surveys, the Taos is at dead last.
This is a problem.
You're going to do a little dance, aren't you? You're doing your little victory dance.
I was right, dance.
Yeah, you are. I see it. I see it happening. Yep.
Just saying, there it is. The proof. I was the butt in the seat. I was the
what you're saying
subjective reviewer here. This is concrete results.
What you're saying is it's not just me. Is really what you're saying. You're like, not just me. Yeah, okay, got it.
pretty cool that Consumer Reports goes that deep, and it can definitely affect your purchasing decisions, but it's not always, because we recommend cars that are a lot of fun to drive and are still kind of in the middle, top to middle of the list, and they're still great to own. They wouldn't be, offered for sale. But
the cars, the $12,000 car piece we just did, the RX-8's in it.
Yeah.
We all know that the RX-8 is not something you buy for its reliability, but it is superb to drive.
Superb, yeah.
The Mini's in it. The Mini's wonderful to drive, and not just because I bought one, but it is genuinely fun to drive, but yet people have had really mixed reliability there. So sometimes the hassle is worth it. You just have to decide it's that spectrum of sacrifice.
That's the takeaway.
What's your hassle tolerance?
That's good.
That's where we are.
Since you're listening to us, you'll end up shopping for your next car very soon. And when you do, you need Autotempest.com.
Any car, anywhere, at any price, Autotempest searches all the major car listing sites on the web, local or nationwide. And Autotempest has recently added price history for every car listed, so you can see how prices are trending and know if you found a good deal. You can also create search alerts and lists of saved searches so you can find your perfect spec even easier next time.
Search on any device, in your browser or as an app for Apple iOS and Android. New, used, or unexpected, Autotempest is how we search for cars. Go to Autotempest.com/everyday so they know we sent you. Autotempest. All the cars. One search. Hooked on Driving announcements coming towards the end of 2025. There is still one day left, one weekend event left for Hooked on Driving in NorCal. That is Saturday, December 13th. That'll be the 3-mile configuration. And Sunday, December 14th for the 5-mile configuration. Thunder Hill Raceway in Willows, California. Come out and see us because you and I are going to be in attendance. We'll be there.
We've never done the 5-mile. I'm hoping to actually get on track and drive the 5-mile because we've never done it.
Yeah, that's
very cool. Yeah.
Pretty cool track, and cool that we're doing 2 different configurations. So hookedondriving.com for Thunder Hill that weekend, and also 2026 Pre-Grid Pass will be on sale starting December 15th. That sale goes through January 15th, 2026, and that is a great way to get a discounted pass. So 3 different tiers, and that'll be on the Hooked on Driving website for each region. Pretty good discount.
Yeah, it'll be the biggest discounts of the year for 2026. Cool. You can pre-buy against track days in the coming year. We're very excited about it. The schedules are getting released on the December 15th as well. We're already hearing about the schedules nationwide. It's going to be awesome. There's going to be so much coverage of Hooked on Driving next year. It's going to be really cool. And there's going to be multiple Europe trips, Portugal, and the Ring and Spa trip as always. So that's happening. Plus, we're going back to Circuit of the Americas. All of this is coming soon, but we're very excited. Tony writes in with our first car debate here. He says he's spinning tires and trying to decide. His eldest son is on the brink of learning to drive. He'll be given Tony's current car, which is the 2019 GLS 450, that's quite a big car.
That's a huge car for a new driver.
All right.
Although that's I had a Jeep Grand Cherokee.
True, but that GLS that's big. Anyway, he's going to drive that through his high school years, which means that Tony needs a new daily. But here is the big trick. He needs, not once, must have a hitch rack on whatever car, which he'd like to be fun, has to have a hitch rack that can carry bicycles, plural, and potentially a singular dirt bike. So we're talking about somewhere in the neighborhood of 300 pounds or so that must be able to be tolerated by a actual hitch mount. That is the big thing. He likes something smaller than the GLS, maybe actual sports car intentions. He has his sports cars handled. He has 2 911s. A 991.2 C4, so an all-wheel drive 911, plus a 996 Turbo as a track and weekend fun car. So he has those. His wife has his description here, the Behemoth Jeep Grand Wagoneer Series 3 for family and hauling duty. So that's covered.
That's suburban size now.
Yeah, that's extra big. He's had a Durango 392 in the past, a Focus RS. He's looking at maybe GR Corolla or Golf R, but he's wondering about the ability for suspension to handle the load of the dirt bike. So that also gets him thinking about maybe small SUVs. This is where we are.
Tony's wandering mind has considered an SQ7 or SQ8 Audi, GLE 53, Macan, Cayenne, GLC 43, all the usual suspects in there.
In that regard, yeah.
With a budget of $60,000, what can he get? And the hitch is the through line here on this debate and the next. Did you notice?
I did. I noticed that. I stumbled across, I didn't go too far down this rabbit trail, but and this is not an endorsement because I just saw it literally in passing. Of course, there's a YouTube channel who does a series called Does It Bike? Does It Bike, everybody?
Does it bike?
So which
so
actually
like, does it blend
is
from
exactly,
years ago?
It does.
Decades ago?
It does relate to us. Actually, I'll give you a totally random aside. You remember the Does It Blend blender?
Oh yeah.
Okay. The Does It Blend blender did the Does It Blend stuff forever. There were these YouTube videos. You find them if you haven't seen them. They're totally viral kind of things. They would just like throw it in their super industrial blender you could buy for their kitchen. I don't remember what the name was, but you would have it. I think it was Blend Tech. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
They turned it into soup.
They would soup everything.
Yeah.
I happened to be working as a commercial editor in Salt Lake when they got a new marketing person at that company, and they decided to do legitimate commercials.
Which was a Utah-based company. The Blend Tech
They decided
was Utah,
to do
was it not?
actual, genuine, normal commercials and release them on TV. And this marketing person, talk about the Jaguar issue, this marketing person got the commercials made, shot, through edit, and up to approval. I don't know how this happened. I was the editor on them.
Okay.
And then when they were shown to the guy that owned the company, he said, I will never run traditional commercials, and they died at that step. Now, maybe this has changed since then. It's been a while since I did
Spent a lot
this
of money
edit.
to get to that point.
Yes, exactly. It's like nobody along the line was like, should we show the boss? Anyway, but the point I'm making here is that the Blend Tech blends everything, but apparently the viral videos were enough they didn't need commercials. So out there is Does It Bike, which is what we need for Tony.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, Tony, I had got some great choices for you. I love how you're thinking. $60,000 budget. I'm not trying to blow it out too much.
Just a little bit.
Just ever so slightly, but
Okay.
I do have great choices for you here. Starting off, you know how you talked about your Cayenne idea? I went shopping and found a 2022 Porsche Cayenne Coupe because you're looking for something sports car-ish driving.
Okay.
That's what the Coupe does. It instantly makes it a sports car.
Sure it does.
Right?
Right. Uh-huh.
This one is in Bellevue, Washington at Park Place Ltd. It is the all-wheel drive. It's not the turbo, but regular coupe with 33,000 miles. It is $64,950, so hopefully a lot less than you were thinking. And look at that lovely hitch right on the back there. Yep. So yes is the answer. I think the coupe, it's kind of a blend between sports car, Blend Tech. Will it blend? It blends. It sports car and kind of off-roadish, taking the bike on the back, the 300-pound dirt bike, actually leaving it on there.
That's interesting, yeah.
Racks on there, so that that is just a traditional hitch. And it's my understanding these are towed somewhere in the neighborhood of 6,000, 7,000 pounds, somewhere in there. So
for sure.
Easy on that. And you've got your raised sports car for $64,000 with a hitch rack. I think that's a great choice
Very
here.
nice.
I also had considered the BMW X5 competition because I know this is something that will easily do that. And you know what? The X5, especially the M, drives kind of like a sports car. Todd and I were always like, why does a brick drive so well? Well, it's a BMW, and they forced it to drive well. So it does have kind of a sports car, a tiny bit of a sports car flavor in there. But you know what is also interesting and sort of like the coupe? And that is the X6M.
I'm going to continue to say no.
Now,
No. Sorry.
Merely
Personal
an idea.
bias. Sorry.
Merely an idea because you'll notice there is no hitch on this one, but stealthhitches.com does make a conversion kit that you can put on this bad boy. So if you're looking for, again, more of the sports car shape, that's why we, as a planet, we went through the era of making all the SUVs with a sloped rear backlight.
I don't think we've left that era, unfortunately.
Turned it into a sports car, the sports coupe, sports SUV.
You and I continually are baffled by it. I know why they sell. I just think they shouldn't exist.
Again, doesn't come with it. That's why you want the X5. But if you wanted the X6, then you could go to Stealth Hitches and get that conversion kit. And I was thinking, oh, I've got it. Tony, Acura MDX Type S. I mean, it's got a motorsports-derived engine. Here is the SUV that doesn't drive like an SUV. It's shockingly good. It's excellent to drive, MDX Type S. The problem is it doesn't have a hitch, and there's no solution in sight from any manufacturer that I can tell.
Oh, really? Interesting.
So that's the unfortunate part there. But as the crazy, crazy wild card, I came up with the Mustang Mach-E Rally.
Okay.
Stealth Hitches does make a conversion kit for this one, which could make this viable because it's sportish, off-road. It's rally sport. It's in that kind of category. So none of these are cars, but they all drive. I mean, the Mustang least so, but they kind of drive better than you would suspect an SUV to drive. So with a conversion kit on this, you could be a one of one driving around in your Mach-E Rally with a dirt bike on the back, kind of sportish, kind of off-road. I mean, we're parked on some gravel and rocks.
There's dirt under the tires.
Some dirt under there.
Dirt.
So
there's
it's
trees in the background.
Sport, rally, dirt bike, off-road. But again, except for the MDX Type S, all the others do have a conversion kit available from Stealth Hitches, and you're going to have to call them and find out what the weight carrying limits are on all of those just to make sure everything will fit. But I think you've got some great choices. I think the Cayenne Coupe could be great. It's got a sporty back. It's like a sports car, and so therefore it's a sports car.
It's exactly like a sports
Same
car.
thing here. It's got a sporty back and a wing. It's got to be a sports car. Look.
Tony, I'm going to go through your list, but I also realized as I was going through my photos that I forgot something earlier, and that was the current bottom of the brands taking Rivian's spot is now Jeep, which, let's be honest, that is Jeep's direct competitor. Jeep is at the bottom. Sorry, I hate to circle back. But anyway, we're going to go to Tony. We're going to go to you and towing, and you started here with the GR Corolla. And I like this idea, except for one little problem that's visible in this photo. I'm showing a rear three-quarter. This car has 3 tailpipes, and one of them, the biggest one, is in the middle where you would normally put a hitch.
Bit of a problem.
That is an issue. I also don't know what the suspension would deal with on this, having 300 pounds on the back. But the biggest issue is the fact that you have a center tailpipe to worry about. Now, I did some digging. Yes, someone has done it.
Okay.
They put on a dual pipe aftermarket exhaust, and they put a tow hitch out of the back center port because there was no longer a third exhaust pipe there. So bodywork-wise, you could do it. The interesting thing is that pretty much any car you would like to have a hitch on, somebody could find you one that will work. You might end up cutting body panels and that kind of stuff. I still think this is a bit of a stretch for this car. I think so too. There's too many changes to get you there. But you brought up the Golf R. I'm showing a picture right now. I specifically went for pictures with bike racks on them.
Like it.
This is a Golf R. I think this is 7.5, and you can actually see, if you look at this photo, there has actually been a well-machined cut through the center back bumper to create the hitch point. These exist. Hitches like this exist. I think this Golf R would be great. I think you would enjoy driving it very much. That would be an excellent choice here. I have others, like the Macan.
It's good, yeah.
A little bit smaller than the. I mean, it's Porsche's hatchback. We've talked about it many times. This is the closest Porsche gets to selling a hatchback. There are all kinds of hitches available. Could absolutely tow your bike, could absolutely tow your dirt bike. This would get this done. I think this might be the right mid-size you're looking for. I mean, I'm not going to fight you off the Cayenne or the X5. I get it. But I think the Macan might be the size you're hoping for that still has the utility you need in towing. So I'm wondering about the Macan there. Moving on to the X3, we're huge fans of the X3. We've driven it a few times, and it's just great.
Yeah, it is.
And it is kind of like the Macan. It's kind of smaller size, a little bit right size, tons of hitches available for that. Go for the X3.
A lot of engine.
Yes, for sure.
Fast. Very fast.
My favorite, though, I landed on after a little bit of digging around, and it's so new that I can't show you a hitch photo, but I can talk about the car because I actually think I have your answer.
Really?
$60,000. Get yourself the Ioniq 5N.
Could you do
a sports car. This is a sports car.
Yeah,
that's how it drives. Now, it is the size of a small SUV, like the Macan, like the X3. It's that size. This drives as sporty as anything you're ever going to want. This is going to feel like the other end of the spectrum from the GLS you got out of.
That's interesting.
But you have decent space. You've got all-wheel drive. This drives really, really well. Now, to this point, I have not found anybody that's put a hitch on one of these. However, the standard Ioniq 5 tows like crazy. You can find pictures all over the place. Bikes, dirt bikes, random little campers like this. It has a decent tow rating. I can't imagine, I'm not an engineer, I can't imagine that the Ioniq 5N can handle nothing. I mean, I realize the bodywork can handle nothing. That's an issue that can be solved. But the mechanics here are fundamentally the same. Let's say the standard Ioniq has a couple 1,000-pound tow rating. The N's got to have something. It's not zero. Okay.
No.
So I don't have an answer for you there, but I feel like
suspension is something.
It's a different animal.
It's a totally different animal. It's a sports car.
Yes.
Different suspension. So we're not sure what that
I don't
would do
know,
there.
but somebody's going to try it. Somebody's going to try putting an actual tail-mounted rack on the back of an Ioniq 5N. Again, the standard Ioniq can do it. So the 5N, that is my personal choice. It's interesting. You ended up in electric, and so did I.
It's interesting.
But other options here, but
that's
Tony,
a good one.
I think Ioniq 5N would do sports car and would do utility at a way I think that would surprise you.
That's good. All right, Tony, thank you for writing. Thank you for the tough choice, the tough debate here, because it just got us thinking differently. And
for sure.
We definitely welcome photos when you figure out what you're buying, and write to us, everydaydrivertv@gmail.com. Topic Tuesdays, car conclusions, car debates. We're adding FCP Euro as our partners and supporters for both Everyday Driver and Hooked on Driving. For nearly 40 years, FCP Euro has been an industry-leading supplier of genuine, original equipment and OEM parts and performance upgrades for European cars.
That means BMW, Audi, Volkswagen, Mini, Mercedes, Volvo, Porsche, and even Saab. Paul, you have to call your brother-in-law and tell him FCP Euro is the place, because as I just said, even Saab. We're putting it in the ad. Anyway.
They offer a lifetime replacement guarantee on everything, including consumables like brake pads, wiper blades, and even oil filters. Buy a replacement, send back the old one, and receive a credit for the full amount.
For your Saab!
Plus, FCP Euro offers free economy shipping on orders over $49 and a 90-day hassle-free return policy for new, unused, and uninstalled parts.
So visit FCP Euro today for more than 300,000 parts ready to ship for your European car and your Saab. FCPEuro.com.
Douglas writes to us with an existential car crisis. He's in a painful car dilemma and hoping that we can help before he loses his mind. He's looking to downsize to one do-it-all car and needs some advice. He needs to upgrade from his loathsome Subaru Outback.
His word, but interesting. Okay.
Yeah. He wrote this. And his turbo Miata into one car that is fun to drive and that can haul his 2-year-old and 5-year-old kids and his wife.
Okay, so can do family duties, but must be fun.
I like loathsome Subaru Outback.
That's a great word, by the way. I don't hear that nearly enough. It's excellent. Yeah.
Douglas is in Michigan, so this does not rule out snow tires and rear-wheel drive, he says. And while he admires German brands, he does not want to stand out in the neighborhood or at work. Understand?
I'm going to come back to that. There's a lot of thoughts I have.
Are you going to poke holes in that?
A little bit, yes.
All right.
Here we go, yes.
One thing Douglas is looking for is a compromise car that could take a track day, winter weather, and a tow hitch.
There you go. There's through line. I see it. Good.
Yep. Needs to be automatic under about $30,000 to $35,000 and replace a really fun Miata when it's just Douglas driving. He's narrowed the list down to the Golf R 7.5, maybe the 8, 7.5, and a Mustang GT. He gives us a list of cars that are off the list. Most people write to us and say, here's the ones I'm considering. Here's the cars that Douglas is not considering. The G70 and Stinger, no tow and kind of boring. CT4, Cadillac Blackwing, over $40,000.
Sure.
The IS350 is boring.
Okay.
The Chevrolet SS, too old, he writes. Charger Scat Pack, too heavy. The Volkswagen Arteon is boring. Cadillac ATS-V, well, it's a little bit older right now, but horrible interior. And the WRX, he says, another CVT. Please no.
Love it. Good stuff.
I have some interesting choices for you here, Douglas. At least when I was starting out in my thinking, I thought I'd solved it.
Oh, okay.
But I hadn't. For the same reason you brought up the GR Corolla, I thought, Integra Type S. And then you'll see in the back, it's got that tailpipe dead center.
All of the tailpipes. At least the Corolla's got 3 spread out.
At least it spreads.
The Type S has got all of the tailpipes exactly where you want to put a hitch.
I thought I'd solved it because, yeah, well, I mean, it's manual, but still, again, there's some flaws here, but at least it's a starting place.
But the tow hitch is a real problem here because there's going to be some serious rerouting of things or have a very hot,
that's major
bike.
My bike is so hot. And then I thought, okay, what else does Acura have? How about a TLX? How about a TLX Type S?
Ooh, that'd be cool.
No solve immediately that I can find on the internet for a hitch installation on this. I'm sure there's something out there. Automatic, can take the family.
Yeah, that's great. I like that.
Maybe.
The 3 and 5-year-old, of course. Yeah, I don't know about the hitch.
The hitch,
yeah,
maybe not so much. But I think I've solved it. Hands down, I think I have fully solved once and for all.
Okay.
Here it is.
Ooh.
The Mini Countryman JCW.
Hopefully not the current one.
Not the current one. Just go one gen back.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
But here it is.
All right. Yeah.
This is a cool, sporty looking thing. You can put a hitch on the back because Stealth Hitches actually makes a conversion even for the JCW Mini Countryman. The JCW has a lot more power. And the promo photos from Mini, not only do they show it slicing on a fun canyon here, they show it on a track.
There you go. I like it.
Which to me means if a manufacturer shows their car on track, SUV like an X5.
Just an endorsement, right?
Rolls Royce. Mm-hmm. That means you can track it. Here it is.
On the ring, no less.
The Countryman JCW on track. It's a sporty, fun little car. Okay. It can take everybody. It's automatic. It's the JCW, so it's got the upgraded power. It's got a lot of power. Hitch on the back. I think this is the all-in-one. No, it's not a Miata, but anytime somebody writes to us, it needs to do a thing a Miata does. Well, there's only one car that does what a Miata does.
True. Yeah,
Guess which one it is.
I mean, you can put a bike rack on the back of your Miata. We've seen it many times, but you can't hold a family.
But the family, no go. Yeah. So here it is, the Mini Countryman,
All right.
one generation back.
All right.
JCW, Bob's your uncle. That's it. Go shopping, autotempest.com/everyday, and I didn't take these photos. I mean, Mini is promoting this on track. The word country would suggest off-roady, Subaru Outback, but no, here it is on some great asphalt on track, doing all the things, all in one. It's a Mini.
You've done well. Plus, you didn't do the current one. You did the one back.
Well, I had to because it was.
Yeah. Plus,
I went to the Mini USA website. I went, let's go one generation back. I mean, it's still for sale. I mean, if that's your jam, that's your jam. You can go get one. But these are definitely in the sweet spot for pricing, for doing it all. Stealth Hitches does have the conversion kit. You can get it done. And here's all the Minis on track. I mean, they're just
very good.
Showing everything. So this is my choice.
As I dive in here for Douglas, I have to note two things. Two things that were key in your email, Douglas. One is you said it has to replace a really fun Miata when it's only you driving, which is a tall order to have it do these other things.
Yeah.
And no German brands. And then you said, what about a Volkswagen Golf R?
Well, that's true. You did say that.
Which is a German brand. You also are worried.
No, it's not.
You're also, and look, I don't know what you do for a living. You're in Michigan. I don't know what perceptions you're struggling against, but you're worried a little bit about perception. But you brought up Cadillac, you brought up Lexus, and you have a Volkswagen in here. So I kind of am ignoring your no German brands thing. I'm admitting it because I think if you buy the right car, it isn't flashy. I think you prove that with the Golf. The Golf would work great for you. The Golf R, the 7.5, excellent. I think you would like that car for your needs. It would do all the family stuff. It is fun. It's not Miata fun, but it is fun. Let's move on, though. You talked about the Mustang. The Mustang is only okay here. You were talking about the new GT. The thing you can't get around is this drives big.
It looks big.
And the steering is mute.
Yeah.
And you're coming from a Miata. If you weren't coming from a Miata, I think the Mustang might do this. But you're coming from a Miata.
He'll scream.
Which is about body movement and steering feel and weight shift, and this feels heavy and numb, which is not the direction you want to go. I mean, there's things to like here, but that's not against a Miata, so can't go Mustang. You said Chevy SS too old? No, sir. No, sir. Get a Chevy SS. You walked right by the answer. You went, yeah, it's too old. No, it's not. It's a Chevy. I mean, it's a Chevy. The hardest thing you're going to have trouble with on this is body panels.
Well, sure, but the lower price actually justifies it because it's too old. Well, prices come down a little bit.
This is, look, GM said it, and then I have agreed with it because I thought, no, it can't possibly be. That's marketing speak. It's the four-door Corvette. This is, if you want a Corvette, but you have to have four doors, this is exactly your car.
I was going to say not a Malibu, but either will work.
That's what's true. But the reality is, look, this doesn't have a super modern interior, but it also doesn't have an offensive interior. That's the problem you're having with the Cadillac. Is you're going, the styling's not. This is, I know this sounds good. In this reality, this is bland enough to not be offensive and actually not age as fast. Okay? And it has a better interior than the Malibus and that stuff that Chevy was selling at the same time. So while this is a 10-year-old car, I say run, don't walk, and actually drive and possibly buy the Chevy SS. You want the automatic, so you're going to get the ones that are going to be more affordable anyway. You're going to love it when you're driving it by yourself. It's got good actual GM power, and yes, you can haul the family, bike, all of the above is there. I didn't stop there, though, because I think there's other options. The Alfa Giulia I have to bring up. I'm under contract. I'm not under contract, actually. There's no such thing. But the Alfa Giulia I have to bring up.
Did I miss the?
It's never happened.
Is it digital? Is it?
Nobody's ever paid us a thing to say anything. Anyway, but look, I love the Alfa Giulia. This is the fantastic dad car that is amazing to drive and does the dad things. You could get in an all-wheel drive if you're worried about weather. You could put a hitch on it. I've got to mention the Alfa Giulia. But my answer for you, needs to replace the Miata for fun, needs to haul a bike, needs to have at least some back seats for the kids, is the first gen BMW M2.
I mean, you're right. I thought of this because of our mutual friend Greg.
Yes.
But he said no German brands.
But he then said Golf.
That's true.
He said Volkswagen. And he said Lexus.
So Todd kicked it open.
Exactly. He said Lexus. He said Cadillac.
Yeah.
So the point I'm making here is I think that, and I don't know where you work and I don't know what the perception is, but if you're going to show up in a Volkswagen and all German cars are out, you can't show up in a Volkswagen, but you're considering it. If you're going to show up in a luxury brand and you're worried about that perception, but Lexus and Cadillac are on the thing, you can't consider those either. Mm-hmm. The reality of the M2 is, especially this older one, don't get the new one, get the old one. It's better looking anyway. The reality of the M2 is this is one of those only if you know cars. It's just an average BMW to the average person. Yeah, it's got a BMW badge on it, but we all know that BMW sells stuff that lots of people have bought. It's not a luxury brand at the bottom end. It isn't. So you buy an M2. I may even recommend you get it in the gray or the black because it goes super stealth when you go gray or black. I love it in the blue.
The blue is amazing. Yeah.
But get it in gray or black, and then it's just a small-ish BMW sedan that you bought, and nobody's going to know unless they are a car person.
That's true. It'll just be, you got your two-door car right there because it looks like a normal car.
Exactly.
Trump
and
engine,
and the normal BMWs are the same price. I mean, these kind of BMWs are the same price as a loaded-out lots of brands, including like the Volkswagens. I think this could slip under the radar unless there's like a major BMW bias somewhere.
I'm glad you brought it up because I thought M2 with a hitch
M2
rack
gets it done. Yes.
But no German brands. But you're right.
I think there's, like I said, the
was
doors
some wiggle
open
room.
and I kicked it. That happened for sure. That's definitely the case.
Smashed through there. So that's excellent. Really appreciate your email. Thank you so much, Douglas, for writing. Write to us, everydaydrivertv@gmail.com. Car conclusion number 1 comes to us from Brian in New York and Florida from episode 974. You remember us talking about the Mercedes SL55 replacement. Brian, thank you for writing back. He said, we both had great suggestions for replacing his 2005 SL55 AMG, ranging from Astons to Maseratis to BMWs.
That sounds like us.
It does. And Maserati was first on his list, but fell off after he chatted with his neighbor who owns one.
You know it's bad when you talk to owners of the car and you leave the conversation with the owner thinking, I can't get one of those.
But the reason is not what you think. He says it's because Maserati is apparently downsizing the number of dealers and the local service might be a challenge. And so if you don't service it frequently, you perpetuate what people did with Maseratis, and that is pass along the service to the next owner, and then they were never serviced and became terrible. So
yes. You never did that, did you?
No,
of course not. Yeah,
Me?
okay.
No.
Yeah, got it.
He also liked the idea of the E93 M3, that is the V8 retractable hardtop.
It's very cool, yeah.
But the BMW 840 rose to the top for him. I mean, cool car, but yeah. I'd take
Different
a
price
Maserati
point.
that is well maintained over an 840 that is...
It is a bit of a dice roll. It's a bit of a dice roll, yeah.
His wife loves the BMW 430 and 440s, even with the beaver teeth, so that also rose to the top of the list.
Okay.
After debating it for some time, they had a change in focus. Driving back and forth from Syracuse to Florida was beginning to wear on them, so they decided to stop driving and start flying.
Okay, which means they aren't going to take the car down. They've got to have a car there.
That led to the search for their car to leave in Florida and shelve the AMG replacement search. After they drove a number of SUVs, they settled on a Volvo XC90 Ultimate Recharge T8. That's the end of the words after
all the words.
Volvo.
Yeah.
He still has the AMG and looks forward to continuing to drive it for now, hopefully with no major issues. In the meantime, he can't complain about the XC90's turbo, the supercharged 2-liter engine combined with the electric power, getting 455 horsepower, 523 pound-feet of torque. You can smoke everybody at the light. It's so great.
Somewhere there was a Volvo planning meeting. They were like, what's all the technologies that engines come with? Can we just put it all on one? You're the supercharger people, you're the turbo people, you're the hybrid people. I have an internal combustion engine. Let's just all get along. Let's build it all.
The visionary. Could he just put it all in one? Maybe.
There were different pitches and they were like, let's have all of that. It's amazing, yeah.
Apparently it comes in at the 11.15 weight to horsepower ratio. It's just under the 12.
That's good. Very good.
Says it feels like a cool sleeper at the red lights. That's right. You can people are not ready for you.
Nope.
Even though the purpose shifted, he says, thanks for the input. Really appreciate it, Brian. Thank you for writing. Congratulations on the car. Cool. And write back when you're shopping for the next SL55 55 replacement, and you really want to get it done.
There you go. Yeah.
Paul C. also writes to us. It took him a while to put this conclusion together. He comes from episode 941, where he mistakenly wrote that he drives 85,000 miles a year and kind of blew our minds.
That stopped us. We were like, you do what now? Yeah.
He meant to say 85,000 miles in 2 years.
Still a lot of mileage.
Which is still a lot.
It's not like, oh, well, you don't drive much at all anymore, Paul. It's just, yeah, okay.
He was doing the voice recording on his phone, so it transcribed incorrectly. But when he sold his Mazda CX-50, it had 90,000 miles on it.
And it was barely 2 years old. I mean, that's what we're talking about, yeah.
He says the current stable now includes his first car and still owns that 1969 Z28. A 69 Firebird convertible will be his daughter someday.
Whoa, hang on, stop. Hang on, I have to stop right there. I made a note. You have, Paul, a 1969 Z28.
Yeah.
You have a very similar car in a 1969 Firebird convertible you say will be your daughter's someday. And I'm going to ask the question, for your sanity, for your wife's sanity, and for your daughter's sanity, does she want that car?
Oh.
Does she want it? If she does, she's like, Dad, that's so cool. I don't know how old she is. I don't know. I don't remember.
I mean,
but maybe she's reached the place where she's like, I'd love to have that car, and that's why it's going to be your daughter's car. Maybe. But I'm worried about this is Dad going, that's my little girl's car.
Oh.
And I feel like when parents thrust a car they love onto the child they love, there's a conflict there if the kid's not all about it.
I mean, maybe.
Maybe she is. But I read that like, this is my plan. And I'm sitting here going, has she heard? Has your wife heard? What if she doesn't want it? I'm just trying to save you fights. That's all I'm trying to do. Just save you the fight. If she wants it, blessings and awesome, and keep it for her, and that's amazing. And a really cool car for your daughter to drive is a 1969 Firebird convertible. Awesome. If she doesn't want it, I'm going to suggest that's okay. Anyway, moving on.
We'll say yes for now.
Yes, we'll say. Well, let's hope she does. Let's hope she's already like yelling at the speakers and going, I love that car. I want it, but I'm not certain that's the case.
Paul sent photos. Here's how he stacks those cars in the garage. You can see him right back here.
Yes.
On the stacker in the garage. He's also got that CT4 Blackwing. That is his weekend fun and track car. And now the new work car, which is a 2025 BMW M240i. Again, with the hitch through line.
And the mammoth bumper sticker on it, too. I love that.
Yeah, for sure. He says because his company took so long to get back to him regarding their final conclusion on what the work stipulations were for cars in order to receive a tax-free reimbursement, things were rushed at the end of the year. He was all set, and he says he wanted to go with our response from episode 941 to go with a Volvo V60. The problem in California seems to be no one has them. He finally found one in the Bay Area, was ready to buy, but still had no resolution from his company. So upon hearing the car did actually have to be over $53,000, that ruled out replacing his CX-50 with a hybrid CX-50. So he had to laugh when he told the sales team that it just didn't cost enough.
I like it, but could you, forget it.
Amazing. So the majority of his research was done online, but he did get in some test drives, and the special note was that test drive of the M240i. He says was concerning and frustrating because during the test drive of a used car while getting onto the freeway and hitting the gas, his wife's first reaction to a funny noise was, is that the turbo?
It's the moment when the salesman's head just drops in the back seat like, oh no.
Same time, he was thinking to himself, oh no, his Mazda's faster than this. And the salesperson in the back seat was quiet and then finally said he'd have maintenance check it out.
Yeah, that's not working right.
He went down multiple rabbit holes and various flights of fancy in his decision-making process, but he was able to get some additional track days in that Blackwing, which is pretty cool.
Very.
And made him think, what if at some point he could get a work car that could double as a track car? Like that.
Yeah, he says he actually thinks that the Blackwing is a great track car. It does. In fact, at Hooked on Driving, we have the Cadillac V Club come to many of our events, and the number of Blackwings on track when they show up, they all are showing up in Blackwings and loving it, which is very cool. So you're right, it does. But he said it has a bit of a consumables problem, which I think is kind of funny because he was thinking about maybe he'd get a GR86. He looked at that for a bit, but he eventually found his way back to the BMW M240i. And I will say that the BMWs are not known for not having high track consumables, but at least this is probably a little bit smaller car than your Blackwing.
He says he's now driven his 2025 Brooklyn Gray M240i for 11 months. He already has over 42,000 miles on it.
Wow, you're having a big year.
His long drives to work are much more fun now, and even though he finds himself at least a couple of times looking for ways to fit in favorite back roads when working home, he says the car has even been at Laguna Seca during an HOD track day, which is pretty cool, back in March. He says the short wheelbase is great fun on the track, and he was able to put down a great time, 147, just over a second off his best time in the Blackwing.
Wow, that's
cool
impressive.
To hear.
Good.
So apparently our suggestions help open up the world to him of BMW. So he says when this has really high miles, look forward to another car debate in the future.
Won't be long. It's fast he puts miles on it. That's just amazing.
I love that you're driving it hard and driving it a lot, though. I mean, I love that it's holding up. I mean, BMW is at the top of the list from Consumer Reports. So here you go. You chose wisely.
Would have never expected that BMW would be there, but that's what the current reporting is. That's just crazy. A reminder that next Monday we are doing a live podcast. We're not going to do any questions on this podcast because that will be all questions. We want you guys to just be ready with all the questions. They go so fast, it's really nuts. We're going to do it live. It's going to be very cool. But I am going to do a short Did You See This?
Okay, cool.
And it is a little bit off kilter because I talk about the film industry a lot when I do the Did You See This, or what TV shows you're watching. And I'm not actually talking about a show or a movie right now, even though there's some I could discuss from recently. I'm going to discuss something going on in the industry that is very surprising. And maybe you've read past this in the last week and you've read past this news and gone, oh, that's interesting. But I want to make it land.
Okay.
The film industry is shrinking. Okay, that's not news to anybody. The film industry is shrinking. It's going through a lot of turmoil, a lot of stuff's going on. I'm not going to bore you with all of that reality. But in the process of it shrinking, you have a few major studios that make everything, right? And most of those studios either feed the direct, like HBO Max makes HBO stuff, and you see HBO stuff on HBO Max, okay? Netflix makes their own stuff, right? Some people feed their own streaming service. Some people are feeding every streaming service, okay? But a place like Apple TV, like if you watch stuff on Apple, that's not produced by Apple. It's produced by Warner Brothers or Sony or whoever, and it sells it to Apple. Okay, that's the production studio. So there's 4 or 5 major studios in Hollywood. Which, if there were 30, there'd be a lot of places to take your movie.
Really, just 4 or 5? Seems like there should be more.
And their problem is they've been shrinking over the years. Okay, so like Columbia TriStar is merged, and that's owned by Sony. That's been a long time ago. Fox is now part of Disney. Fox used to be separate and now part of Disney. So there's been consolidation going on. That's been the story in Hollywood for a while.
Okay.
You may have already heard that Paramount has new owners. Larry Ellison, one of the billionaires of the world, his son, who runs Skydance Productions, now owns Paramount. You probably heard that's been in the news a lot.
Yep.
They've been looking to swallow up something else. Okay? In the process of looking to swallow up something else, they got their eyes on Warner Brothers, because Warner Brothers has not had a good few years. And I feel connected to Warner Brothers because we were the sister company at New Line when I worked there, and then New Line got absorbed into Warner Brothers. So I feel a connection to Warner Brothers. All right, I know people that still work there.
Okay, all right.
So that suggested Warner Brothers was for sale. Warner Brothers is storied, one of the best.
Did they put themselves up for sale?
Essentially, they were taking offers over the last couple of months. They've been taking offers, which is amazing because that means depending upon who buys it, what does that do to the industry? Warner Brothers, it's been announced, is being bought by Netflix. Netflix. Now, the way I want to make this land is Netflix is a phenomenon. Netflix is valued way above. Netflix is valued compared to the other studios like Tesla is valued compared to car companies. I'm connecting the dots here to cars. It's the same kind of thing. Netflix is valued as the rule breaker, the disruptor, and so it's worth all this money and has been wildly successful and done a lot of off-kilter things and worked. But the key thing about Netflix is they don't license stuff to anybody else. They keep it all in-house. All the stuff they own, they keep only for them. They don't send it anywhere else. You can't see a Netflix show anywhere else but Netflix. And they staunchly refuse to put movies in theaters. So Netflix is buying Warner Brothers, home of Batman, Lord of the Rings. Think about where this is going.
Holy cow.
Superman.
Holy cow.
Friends.
I mean, it's all the DC.
But Friends is under Warner Brothers, which is licensed a lot of places now.
Really?
So this begs lots of questions no one has answered yet. Are they going to license to other people? I'll give you a weird one. A lot of the Apple shows, this is a competing streaming service, Apple. Okay? But a lot of the Apple shows are produced by Warner Brothers. So is Netflix not going to allow a Warner Brothers produced show to now play exclusively on Apple because Netflix now owns it? This is a quagmire. Now, there's discussions that Netflix is going to allow traditional Warner Brothers movies to continue to come, like big tent poles that would have been Warner Brothers theatrical things will still come out in theaters. But theaters don't want to play Netflix movies because
Why?
Netflix has always been so adversarial to theaters and just gone, theaters don't matter. It's just about what plays at home.
Which is the foundation of their business. I get it.
Exactly. So I'm mentioning this. You may have read lots of things about it. You may have read nothing about it. But if you read past a headline in passing, like, oh, Netflix bought Warner Brothers, that's cool. I saw the combined logo today, and it kind of gave me chills because what this means is unknown. But it means that Warner Brothers now owns a huge library of properties that if they decide to pull it all home and keep it all on Netflix, it's going to reduce opportunity and it's going to reduce things in the theater, and they're going to have a massive monopoly on their hands of the stuff they can only play. Think all HBO shows of all time. You could maybe now only find them on Netflix.
About HBO. Wow. Of all time. That would mean what?
Friends, Seinfeld,
Game of Thrones too.
Of the
HBO?
Warner Brothers produced NBC stuff would now be Netflix's library. This is a big shift. It's a big change. I don't know what it means. It's not a have you seen this, like have you seen this show, but have you seen this happening? It's not car related. I'm sorry about that. But this is news. This is news that hits me because I think about my history as a filmmaker and my history in Hollywood. And I'm just like, that is a change.
I see that, and definitely related to cars because we see stuff all the time that car manufacturers are doing that we think, well, that'll make every car just drive like every other car. There's no, where's the boundary? It's just a blurring of lines. Whereas Volkswagen's investment in Rivian and Scout and you know, the same 10-speed transmission in the Mustang GTD and Corvette ZR1. Well, does that mean they're just, no, they program them differently and they're different architecture, of course, and there's differences. But for all the other, hey, we're sharing technology, Honda, GM, you know, all these things that we hear, like, well, does that mean just there's going to be car? Back to car. It's just car.
We're just making car. And now I guess Netflix is just making content. So we'll see where it goes.
Movie. The name of our new movie is Movie.
New from Netflix, show. We at Netflix make movie and show. Movie is longer, show is shorter. We're also going to make shorts. We're going to make movie, show, and shorts. I'm a little horrified, but that's my did you see this?
But again, it's TBD. There's all these questions and no answers.
Yes. Kind of like a concept car. We're bringing it all back around. Anyway.
We have so many questions about the Toyota.
So many, yes.
And no answers. Mm-hmm. We just have to wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of waiting, we'll see you guys live next Monday. We're very excited about that, to do one in this studio with a live thing. It's going to be very cool. Rapid fire questions. We promise it will be mostly about cars, but we are taking all questions.
For sure. We're looking forward to it. As always, thanks for watching. Cheers, everyone.